Today I'm going to show you some of the best mage gear for each stage of the game, but make sure you hit the subscribe button and let's get straight into the video. Alright, so I've got 3 stages of the game. We've got early, middle and end game. Right, let's get straight into it. So early game, we're going to look at the Wise Dragon set with, so this is really good for mana. You get 200 intelligence on that one, and then you also use the dark goggles as the helmet. You can buy these from the dungeon NPC. They give you 25% ability damage and 150 intelligence. Obviously, you probably want to reforge all of this stuff. I haven't got it all reforged, but and you want to enchant it all with growth 5, prop 5. That'll be a really good set for you. The 25% ability damage will add to anything like the Bonzo stuff we're going to show you in a minute. So that will give 25% extra damage on that, which is really OP. So yeah, you want to use the Dark Goggles and 3/4 Wise. And I put this on very Wise, but you could get Necrotic, but it's quite expensive to apply. So yeah, Necrotic is probably a better reforge. But there you go, that's that set. But if you want to do what they call left click mage, where you use a sword and you want to get this set, so it's a zombie soldier set. I believe you need catacombs like 6 or 10 or something for this, which then you can use that. It will give, if you put it on the right reforge, you'll get a bunch of intelligence from it, and you can use the same goggles as these ones, or you can just use a zombie soldier helmet. And then I suggest a zombie soldier cutlass because it's quite easy to get. It's very cheap. There it's like 6k for that, and you get some good intelligence on that as well. But yeah, it's pretty decent sword to start off with. Then the Bonzo staff, this will do you for floor 1 and maybe floor 2. That is 2.5 mil. This is quite expensive obviously, but yeah, this thing is really useful later on in dungeons as well. So I definitely suggest this thing. The showtime ability is really good, especially if you have ultimate Wise on it. It makes it much cheaper to do with mana cost. And if you have this set, you'll have enough mana to hopefully do this pretty easily. And then along with that, you want to get some sort of pet. Now, obviously, the best pet for it is sheep pet, but you probably can't afford this. So you could go for something cheaper. I'm not sure exactly what would be a good early game pet, but yeah, you probably find something that give you mana is an important thing. Maybe some health as well, because that would be useful. So yeah, sheep is the best pet, but you probably can't afford it. You want to get this as starred as possible, as well as the armor. But I don't know what this uses. This uses some sort of essence to thingy. I've got it slightly hot potato books, but you want to get max hot potato books on this, and that is a very good weapon to start off with. Alright, moving on to mid game. This time this is a more expensive setup, and you can use this. This is, I think you need floor 6 completion just about to use some of this. So what we've got is a perfect chest plate. This is just really good for defense. So you get some extra defense as well as huge amounts of mana. If you put it on Wise, you'll get 125 mana. If I put this one on quickly, then you can see how much mana I'll have. This is also with the sighted accessory bag thing. So that can do 449 extra intelligence and some ability damage. These shadow goggles here, they give 35% ability damage and 200 mana base plus the 100 from Wise. And then we're using Necromancer Lord for these things. And then we got a tier 9 perfect 5-star. This is quite expensive, but you can get a cheaper one. And then the shadow goggles. There you go. So that costs that gives you 1499 mana. Then if you say use, so the weapons we're going to be using is either Flower of Truth, which isn't really a base mana cost because it just uses 10% of your mana. But this will do more because I believe it is an ability, so it has good ability damage, and you can also do the right click or the left click with it, which is quite good. But this Heat Seeking Rose is good because it can rebound off of different things, which does a ton of damage, and it also does a lot of life steal. But yeah, that's a really good weapon to be using. That costs 4.6 mil. That's without any of this starring or enchants or anything. And if you want to go left click mage, you can use a livid dagger, because this thing is insane for that, because you get double attack speed, and it has really good stats there, and you always crit on this, so it's really decent. And also if you're behind your target, you'll do 100% more damage. It's a bit difficult with left click mage, but yeah, it's still quite useful. Yeah, it's really good weapon to start off with. You've got 246 damage plus with the hot potato book, and good strength, really good crit damage is one of the main things, and it hits double as quick, which is really good when you're left click maging. So yeah, that's a good weapon for mid game. I'm going to take this off. Right, so yeah, I got 1500 mana with that. as well as some really good stats on defense as well from the perfect chestplate. That's really helpful because you won't be quite as squishy in dungeons, which is really useful. Okay, so moving on to the endgame setup, we're going to be using, you can probably use a Spirit Sceptre in this, but it's quite expensive. So for this we're going to look at, so Spirit Sceptre I have ultimate wise 5 on it, it's 5-starred. This thing is really sick because it does, the guided bat ability does 8,500 damage, which is really nice. And it gives you a lot of intelligence actually, so when you're, like, that goes me up to 1200 with no armor on, so that's pretty OP, and you can use it even outside of dungeons. It's pretty decent. It seems to have disappeared though. Yeah, that's a really good weapon. And then for the armor we're going for mostly 3/4 storm. You can't really see the storm, but so this thing gives a lot of intelligence from each piece, and then also some actually really good stats on health and defense. I put ancient on this, but you could use necrotic or something that gives you mana if you need more mana, but the crit damage is quite nice if you're doing left click mage. In terms of a weapon for that, we're also using wither goggles, which you do need catacombs 28, which is quite hard to get. I just unlocked this, but on necrotic you actually get ability damage, which is very nice, and you get intelligence, which is very good, and it's 5-starred. All of this is 5-starred because it's the armor I use, and I should hot potato book it, but it's not all done. But yeah, what we've got here is the giant sword. This is really good for left click mage. It's probably one of the best weapons for that, because it has 570 damage, base damage, which is pretty good. And then when you have more mana, the more mana you have, the more damage this thing will do. So in dungeons I can get up to like 5 mil damage, even further depending on the amount of secrets we have, because I get 2000 mana with that. And also I combine that with either a sheep pet or a baby yeti for some defense, because I'm not always surviving in dungeons. But yeah, this thing is really OP, the giant sword. I have it on fabled because that gives you 15% extra chance to do extra damage when you crit, and I crit every time, so it's very decent. And the fable gives 75 strength and 50% crit damage. That's really sick. So, and you can also use the ability, which will be buffed by your ability damage. It didn't actually show up there, but this thing does a lot of damage. If you want to, like, in boss fights, it's quite useful to kill like stacks of mobs. You can just hit them all with one giant slam, which is very nice, and you can clear with this Spirit Sceptre very easily. Right, yeah, so that's going to do it for today. I hope you did enjoy. Please hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 1,000 subs, so thank you guys very much for that. And do check out the links in the description for all of my gaming setup stuff. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.